So in this video we're looking at the Sony C20, C30, C40, C80 and HF100 and probably many other decks as well that use this front loading system. So a common problem with these is some of the teeth end up getting stripped off this gear. And I have actually made another video with that, detailing that, but unfortunately I actually had to scrap the video because I put the gear on the wrong way round, and as you look at it you see there's white portions here, white gears. They always face inwards, so that makes life a lot easier when you're reassembling it, because these white bits need to be close to the carriage. And this one's just a single gear, but the front loading system I rebuilt in that video, this is it, and I thought it was perfect, but it actually wasn't. What had happened is between here and here there's a spring, and that spring needs to locate properly. And basically you should be able to push a rod or screwdriver right the way through that hole. What had happened is this gear had become slightly out of alignment. So although the front loading system would sort of work, when it came to ejecting it would actually jam, and it would go into like error state with the eject light just blinking as they do, as Sony's do. So I've lined this all up properly. You can see here I've done this side, got a screwdriver in there just keeping that aligned properly, and you can see here that this is running perfectly parallel there. So I'll just lift this up, and what you're aiming for is this here to be lined up, and this here to be lined up, and then this here, the screwdriver isn't really thick enough, but you get the idea. In the manual it does actually say about using a rod of a suitable diameter. I forget what it is, but it does also suggest that you can do this by sight. So you can see there, that's perfect, that's perfect, and that's perfect. So yeah, that should now work. And even when you put the cover on, the holes are still there, so even when you've put the cover on you can double check, or triple check even, that everything lines up as it should. So yeah, we'll put the cover on and we'll give it a check. When you put this cover on, I seem to remember that when you put this cover on you do get a slight issue insofar as the micro switches get in the way. Let's just try that. Yeah, so you can see I can't push that on, so I'll have to just actuate the switches as I sort of gently wiggle this back into position. We'll put the screws in and see what happens. So there we have it. Like I say, I've had to push in each actuator and sort of guide this down into position. As you can see, as it lines up, oh, that's slightly out. That one isn't. Yeah, that is fine. This is actually the proper diameter for what you need. Just check this is right. So that's fine. It's actually probably a little bit on the thick side, but whatever's going through, I know it's spot on. So yeah, that plate's back on. Screws are tightened. So let's pop it back in the machine and see what happens. Okay, so here goes. And sort of have to put it in sort of a little bit, sort of bring it forward so it locks in. If these two bits here aren't sitting flush to the metal, then you know it's not. It's just don't. It's not going to work. So do these screws up here and here. Then we've got 3 more screws to put in. So 2 at the top. And then we have the one that I have seen missed on quite a few occasions, the one in the middle. So this is a really nice deck, to be fair. So clean. I've not cleaned this yet. This is how it's come to me. Really very, very tidy. Despite the wonderful work on the mains cable, which will sort that out. Okay, moments of truth, I suppose, see if it works. So power on, turn it on. Oh, guess what I forgot. Let's just turn it off at standby. I forgot to put this on. Don't forget that. So easy when you're getting sort of so involved with these things. You think, oh yeah, I've done all the mechanical bits. I've just got to plug in the blinking connector. Okay. Oop. Yeah, well that's fair enough, because I really didn't push that tape in properly. Well, that's looking... So we have the same... Oh, and it's not ejected. Oh, it has. Yeah, it has. It has finished. Yeah, that is actually working properly. So I think this machine might have a problem. Now, what the history is with this machine is it had a bad front loading system, and this is what remains of that gear there. Now this is really unusual. I've not seen this before, and I've seen quite a few of these machines now. It's pretty much always this gear that's broken, but on this one it's that gear. And I think what's happening is the signal from here that's generated by the switch for unload is basically not getting through. Now, I'm not getting an error light, so it knows it's finished the eject sequence, but for some reason it doesn't then allow you to load a new tape. So it's either something in the logic for the loading or the unloading of the front loading system. Now the other thing that's a bit of a concern is, although this is a really tidy machine, and really it's very tidy, I mean look at that, these things are usually all sticky and horrible and covered in dust. This is perfect. There's very little dust in there, but this has been connected to an aerial with a leaky aerial lead, i.e. rainwater is getting into the aerial lead and it's run down the aerial lead and into the video recorder. So you can see the mess. I mean, it's literally, it looks like it's poured through, to be honest. So my guess is that this machine is suffering from some water damage as a result of that. Let's just try again with the tape. Yeah, you see, it's just not having it. Yeah, so there. No, we can quite see that. You can see a green thing. That green thing is a capacitor. What it actually is, 0.047 farad. That's farad. So it's a big capacitor. And that's the backup, if you like, battery for the for it. Now I don't know whether you can see this, but there is an LED down there. You can see it just glowing faintly there, and that's telling you that the capacitor still has charge in it, and yeah, as such, it's keeping the memory of the clock. And part of the logic, I don't actually know. I don't know how far that goes on these. I mean, the later ones literally remembers everything. But the 711 B3 base chassis, it has pretty much a single processor plus a tiny bit of RAM that remembers everything, really, the last state it was in and everything. And on those, I think they use 4,700 microfarad capacitor, big old thing, which 0.0, yeah, that's what that is, isn't it? Same sort of thing, but just not as refined. It's literally an off-the-shelf smoothing cap that they use, rather than sort of a more dedicated backup capacitor type. Let's give it a go. Still nothing. What could be wrong? It's just really weird. Let's just put it back into standby. Very strange. I think I need to take this apart and just see what is actually going on. So that's now playing. So I've gone through the deck and checked the boards out, and everything checks out fine. It's a really clean machine. Fair play to Sony. They've used really good quality sockets. So the water that's obviously come down the aerial lead on the outside has not gone any further at all. It's damaged the switch there, the local DX switch, but otherwise everything's fine. I've checked the boards and they're all fine. No water ingress. I was just a little bit concerned because of that, and I just wondered if that was sort of a bit of a sign of further moisture that's got into the machine. But the boards are all clean, really clean, to be fair. Gave them a bit of a brush out while I sort of had a look. But I've still got this problem, and I have to say I think this has to be something still with the alignment or the alignment of the switches. I mean, you hear them clicking, but if I can do this, it loads fine with a bit of help, and you know, the quality's good. I mean, the actual machine, it's going to go from one end of the tracking, the bottom end of the tracking, up to top. And this tape is old, it's well worn. I've used this tape so much. But it plays it beautifully. It really is a really very good machine with not much wear. So I need to have a look at what's going on with those switches, I think, and take it from there. But otherwise, I'm really pleased with the machine. I do have another one of these. I just have to find it and pop that in. But yeah, really pleased. It's much better than it was with that cracked gear. So yeah, panic over on the logic side of things and the water ingress. But it's always worth thinking about. You know, if you see signs on the outside of the case, then they can sometimes point to issues that you might ordinarily not think about. So yeah, I suppose that was quite fun. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look at the switch situation, and probably what I'll do next is check the actual switches and their operation with a multimeter, and just see if they are actually working as they should. Okay, so it's all sorted. Turned out it was the alignment of one of the gears that basically actuates one of the micro switches. So when you push this in, it's on in standby at the moment. You should hear 1 click, 2 clicks. So you need those 2 clicks, and if you're not getting those, the chances are that this isn't aligned properly. And what you want is, as you push the tape in, this switch clicks first, and then a very short, like a few millimeters on, as the tape goes in, this one is then actuated. And to do that, you adjust this screw. Now it's a little bit of a fiddle, but with the front loading system out, it's easy to do, to be honest. Bit of trial and error. You do want a few mils travel before the second one is actuated, but not so far that it actually is right at the end of where you feel resistance. Probably the manual says to do it a completely different way, but that's the way I've found it. It's worked. I had actually forgotten about it. I've done a few of these and I just forgot about the double click. So yeah, it's all good. So this machine is now really very lovely. Yeah, really pleased with it. Also sorted out the mains lead and changed some of the caps in the power supply. All very good. Given it a bit of a clean. Cleaned up the back, put a new or replacement RF in out. One of the bits is broken off there, but that's fine. Yeah, really pleased with this machine. So there we have it. A bit of a whistle stop on the front loading system on a C30. Also used on the C20 and the C40 and the C80 and the HF100. And yeah, so I really hope you learned something from this video and enjoyed sort of watching me scratch my head a bit about it. It's just one of those things, you sort of do these things and then forget. So yeah, really pleased because it's a really nice machine. I mean, it's so clean and tidy. The heads are excellent in this. Pinch roller is really good. It's seen some love, this machine. I did also change the fuses. Main reason I did that was just because I find with these that with age the fuses start to sort of semi-fracture and they'll just go open circuit. So I've changed the fuses as well just to stop that from happening. But yeah, really pleased with this machine. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video.